Yo, it's your boy Ancient Albatross here again, behind the scenes as usual. But we have the Cypher Unlimited crew, the usual suspects of Spiggs 18 or Anthony. We have Alpha Dean or simply Dean. And if you haven't already, be sure to follow us here on Twitch, subscribe to us over on YouTube, or go check us out on Moonbeam on the Anywhere Door, which is a Monte Games like streaming platform that they helped get off the ground. And they're trying to gather as many Monte Cook Games content creators all in one spot. So if you're clamoring for more Monte Cook Games content, there would be the place to check out. There's a number of streamers there and a number of channels to chat in. And yeah, definitely check it out if you haven't yet. But without further ado, Anthony, what are we doing here tonight?
All right, before we get started with our bombshell, just like last week, I want to remind everyone that CypherCon 2025 player signups is open right now. If you're new to the Cypher system or you're a veteran player and just want to roll some funny shaped math rocks with some cool people, join the Cypher Unlimited Discord and get the link to the Sign Up Genius document and pick some cool games to play. We have official MCG adventures, original adventures designed by members of the community, plus some fantastic adventures from many of the Cypher content creators such as KedHub, Gonza Gaming, Shadowmane, Underground Oracle, and our very own Alpha Dean. And here's the best part, guys. It's totally free. You got nothing to lose. And if you don't sign up or show up, we send in the Pinkertons to your house. No, I'm just kidding. Right? Monte Cook Games just released, Monte Cook just released another design diary. This time around, Monte's talking about using rules to define genre. He has some really interesting takes on this one, and it's definitely worth talking about. But more importantly, I think, is that MCG released another email to the people who signed up to be notified for the Backer Kit project. So you really must go and sign up to be notified. What are you waiting for? If you haven't already, this is where you get all the behind the scenes and up-to-date information. So if you haven't signed up, head on over there now and go sign up. Wow, Dean, this was a big one. We have now entered the age of Cypher, right? Like always, let's go over the article and speculate together as a community so we can either jump out the window or celebrate and cheer together. Dean, take us away with reading the first article.
It says we're making a big announcement tomorrow, and we're giving you the news in advance. If you've been reading these emails, this will come as little surprise. In 2026, about a year from now, MCG will launch a new edition of Cypher. This new edition will be streamlined and improve a lot of how we use Cypher, and in particular, make it even faster and easier to jump into new characters and campaigns. For the most part, core mechanics aren't changing radically, so your existing Cypher system books will remain largely compatible. We're formalizing a name change that's already common with fans. Instead of the Cypher system, the game will be called simply Cypher. The core rules will come in 2 books, the Cypher Character Rule Book and the Cypher GM Guide. The former will give you all the rules players need along with everything related to the character creation and advancement. The latter is, of course, for the GM with genre rules, additional guidance, and so on. These books will crowdfund late this summer, along with a range of accessories and other items that make running Cypher even easier and more convenient, along with a few new things we think you'll really love. The version of the core books we're making for backers will include a premium feature and finish that you won't find in the store-bought versions. And we're looking forward to further improving and expanding the core books through stretch goals. And who knows, maybe this will be a great opportunity to revisit 1 or 2 fan favorite settings. We will return to our design-related emails in the days to come, but today we wanted to make sure you got the first word about the big news rolling out to the public tomorrow. Check the MCG website in the morning for more details.
Woo! Woo! I was so, as you was reading, I accidentally closed Twitch because I was so excited.
He's like, shut up, I don't want to hear anything from any of you. Just shut up.
So, all right, hold on, I'm gonna have to mute myself. Okay, yo, there's a lot to go over here. First off, before we even talk about the article, in the article itself, you can see it on our overlay. They have the projected 2 covers. These freaking rock, dude. Yo, I love both of these, and I love how they both like like they meant to go together. I cannot wait. I'm super excited.
Listen, somebody made a statement that it reminded them of Gods of the Fall, and I'm like right there with them. That's got that serious, evocative, draw you right in. Bear and Javier did they damn thing with this one right here, boy. I'm like sitting here like a kid in a candy store. I can't wait. I'm just looking at covers, and
Bear's actually in our chat right now. For those that don't know, Bear Waiter is the art director for Monica Games. He's in the chat. What's up, Bear? Yo, Bear, you knocked the shit out of the park with this one. I'm sorry, yo, these things are awesome. Yo, I want them now on my bookshelf. Full disclosure, we get MCG's products for free. I don't think that's a secret. We've mentioned that before. But I'm definitely ordering an additional set on the back of it just so I have 2. These are freaking awesome. The covers, they could have just dropped the covers, dude. Right?
I know.
And not said anything. And I would have been like, yo, let's talk about this article because the covers rock that hard.
But listen, like I said, I'm getting all sorts of like vibes off of these covers. Like I'm getting whole concept ideas for a sci-fi game, a superhero game, some shit to go on in my game, the game that I'm designing. It's beautiful, man. Like I'm with you, Ed. That shit is phew.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's dig deep into what was actually said. Now we can officially confirm that it's 2 books, 1 player focus, 1 GM focus.
And I'm still holding out for the trifecta as a stretch goal. I don't care what anybody says. I'm holding out for the trifecta. It's going to be a stretch goal. There's going to be a 3rd monster book. Everybody get on here, back this thing so we can have a trifecta of books. I like the old school.
And since we got Bear in the chat, hey, we need a slipcase too, because I love my books, but I love my slipcases to hold the 2 books.
Like I said, every time they offer a slipcase, I get it. I even got the one for Invisible Sun, because
I mean, I think first of all, I think this is the right direction to go. We spoke about this earlier. I mean, in previous videos, it's just cleaner that way. That we can have all the GM stuff in 1 book, and if you're just a player, you could purchase the player book. You don't have to buy both of them together and have all the information you need for character creation.
Right. I think what it's going to do is again making character creation easier. Because like when you think about the CSR as it is now, sometimes you're going past some GM stuff to get into some player stuff, and and so on and so forth. It's kind of all mixed up in there. And man, the new logo. I mean, the new logo is hot. I've heard some people kind of with some issues about it, but I think the new logo is a banger too.
I have a question about the new logo because and maybe there's 2 separate logos, because I also saw a different logo in the previous articles. The one that has like a sword going across it, and then you have the C, just the C Cypher logo. I wonder if they're using both.
Yeah, me too.
Because they actually had another logo as well in some of the previous articles, and either or, I like both of them.
Oh yeah, they're both beautiful.
But I'm just curious if they're using both. But what do you think of the name going to Cypher?
I really don't have a problem with it. I'm probably still going to be running my mouth and say Cypher system, but I know as a lot of times too, I'll just refer to it as Cypher too. I mean, it's like it rolls off the tongue. It rolls off the tongue.
I think it's clean. Like I'm not, I'm usually lazy anyway, so I always just say Cypher anyway. So
Right.
I think it's clean. I think just moving it to straight Cypher, and like we were joking about it in the Discord today, or actually I wasn't, but the community was. We're joking about what's the new version going to be called. But now that it's just Cypher, it kind of just answers that. When someone says Cypher System or CSR, they mean the older book. When someone says Cypher, they mean the new book.
Yeah, it works.
It works for me.
Yeah, it definitely works for me.
But I think the most important bombshell that was dropped in this entire article, right? All this is cool. The covers, the 2 books, we kind of, we were kind of expecting that. So, and I'm not surprised that it's going to be 2 books. I just think that was the direction that they were going, because they're adding a bunch of additional material. It's just easier to split it out into 2 books. But the most surprising part of this entire article to me was at the very end. The who knows, we might revisit ...
Oh, yeah.
Let the speculation begin, because I have 2 things that have to be revisited, and if it isn't, I'm what you call it, declare war on somebody. I don't know who yet, but Gods of the Fall Predation, like.
Well,
Give me. I know most people will want the Strange, but me personally, Gods of the Fall and Predation are the 2 that I want to see revisited. One, because they're the OG settings from the original, Kickstarter. Look. If I just love both those settings so much.
If we're gonna say that, then hell, revisit Unmasked too. Give us all 3 of them. What the hell? Because Unmasked is a hot setting, and it could use some real Cypher love. The biggest problem we had with Unmasked was that we didn't get enough powers, and so forth. But now with Claim the Sky, and with the reinvigoration of how the system looks, give me all 3. I mean, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna just sit here and sip my tea. I'm not even making no speculations.
I'm not sure if just because Gods of Fall was written by an outside writer.
No, so Unmasked is written by Dennis Detweiler.
Yeah. And he so I'm not sure if that's gonna be in the plans. If it is, I wouldn't be upset, but I'm 100% honest. There's like 5 other settings I'd rather see before Unmasked. I'm just keeping it a buck.
Like I said, we all got our own opinions, and like I said, I personally, me, I love my supers. I love dark supers. I love all of that, and then with like stuff that we have now, it would just make the dark supers that much deeper. I mean, come on, think of them adding some of the stay alive elements into that book. Oh my God, dude, we would have we would be cloud 9. So, but yeah, other things can happen.
Yeah, so that was the most exciting part of this entire thing is. Oh, let's talk about this, because we're in the speculation game, and we've been speculating. First of all, Bear, tell Monte to keep it coming, because at this rate we'll have a show every day. Every time they drop, we go live. So, I mean, it is making my life a little difficult with the kids and the family and work and stuff. But I love coming on here and speculating with the community. So, yeah, keep dropping these, because every time one drops, we go live. But what makes... No, I was thinking about how to phrase this. Now that we know, one, that it's 2 books, right? Now that we know that they have what you call stretch goals about adding, revisiting settings, right? What do you think? Because we usually do this while the backer kid drops, though, and this is for chat as well, right? What do you guys think is the ballpark number? Oh wow! What do you think? What do you guys think the ballpark number for this backer kit is going to be?
For What, the initial backing, or are you talking about for the stretch goal?
No, period. Like, what number you think is gonna hit?
Oh.
I'm gonna say it now. If this doesn't do 900,000, I'll be surprised.
I'm gonna go with a cool mill. I'm gonna say a cool mill, 1.1 right there, 1.1. Because this is hotness. But
The reason why I say that is because one, the cipher system, when you start showing off, it's like the Discovery and Destiny when they drop that, right? Is one, it's like you're gonna get all the cipher heads that currently back MCG, right? And we're good, just us alone, like just the cipher community, right? If we all back, we're good for about 750,000, right? Like if it's everybody from the CU, I mean, not only the CU community, but the Monte Cook Games fan community base, we're probably good for 700,000, right? If they you're gonna get the hype of a new system, right? And then you're gonna get the hype of, oh, we're bringing out old setting books. That's gonna easily get another 300,000.
Oh, and Cat Up was like, well, what are we gonna call this and how are we gonna refer to it? I'm just looking at the email. It even says announcing a new Cypher Evolved edition. So Cypher Evolved, dude. It's it's the CE. Nice.
Jason said, "Wait, I'll take what drops from your pockets." Then, you got a back of kit coming out. You don't need to take what's dropped. We're gonna need to take what drops out of your pocket.
I know, dude. You got, and he put some of us to work.
And it's Zil Zadivo, they get near or break 1 million on genre books. This system is 2 million or bust. I love to do giveaways of the Kickstarter edition. Sell some more. Is there a way to do that? I don't know, possibly. And I'm pretty sure just from CypherCon purposes, that's something that I could definitely talk to about. I mean, you're gonna have to wait a whole year if you win the raffle at CypherCon. Maybe CypherCon 2026, because I'm pretty sure Tammy's freaking awesome. So I'm pretty sure if I badger Tammy enough, they would definitely give us one. But it's like, hey, you win a raffle. I'll see you in 2026 to claim your prize.
Hey, a few people probably really would not care because none of us are going to see it until 2026 either. So
no, I'm just saying that's kind of a crappy raffle win. A lot can happen in a year.
This is true. This is very true.
But yeah. So I'm excited for this. This jumped my excitement level times 10 at least. Now we know it's a 2-book format. Now we know what to expect. I also think that since the GM guide and the player guide are separate, it gives them the opportunity to add a bunch of information in both books. Because if it's anything like Discovery and Destiny, both those books were pretty thick. So if they're planning to do the same thing this time around, you're going to get way more information. Especially the genres are going to be way more in depth.
The genres will be way more in depth, but just think about the character. Like they said, they were going to give us. So I think what we were talking about, the genre-specific characters. I think you're going to get like a balance of craziness when it comes to the genre information in general for both sides.
Speaking of that, because I think Monte touches on what we were just mentioning just now in his design diary. So before we get on to the design diary, and then we'll get to our final thoughts, right? Is there anything else you want to mention before we jump onto Monte's article?
No, I mean, honestly, I think we kind of beat it up really good because, I mean, it's just a bunch of excitement in this particular one. I can't wait to see what drops tomorrow. Okay. And it's going to be terrible because I'm going to be driving. I'm going to be on the road. So I'm going to be like, honey, what they say? What they saying on the server? You know, I'm gonna have her reading the server for me while I drive. Because
All right, so
yeah,
now we're gonna get in. We're gonna get into Monte's article real quick, and like always, I said at the beginning, I'm gonna say it again. Go to the backer kit and sign up to be notified. Like the only reason why we're getting this information, so soon and even a day ahead of when it's being released to the public is because we signed up for these newsletters. You can too. We're not nothing special. You can get all this information the same time we get it. So why not, even if you're on the fence, why wouldn't you want to be notified? Because there might be something that turns the table for you.
all right. And I mean, and again, really what Anthony's telling you is like I said, we're talking about it, but all of this information is right there at your fingertips. You know, you can be in the know, you do your own speculations, everything else. Come on here and chit chat with us. It's a great time, people. It's a good time to be a Cypher fan and an MCG fan and an all around geek. So you ready to get in here and using the rules to define genre?
Yep.
So that's the title of Monte's design diary for today. Last time I covered some changes we might make on how to track damage a player character sustains. Today I'd like to explain how it becomes a wonderful tool to help define genre differences. In Cypher, we try to cover all manner of genre, and the different genres are often defined by what the characters do. In an action movie, characters perform incredible feats and fight the bad guys probably without superpowers, magic, or ultra tech devices. In an epic fantasy, noble warriors and powerful wizards defend the weak against the forces of darkness entirely differently than, say, Spider-Man or Superman would. But another difference you'll notice from genre to genre is that characters in these stories are affected by the dangers of their world differently, and we don't even have to bring supernatural powers into it, although we can. One might argue that Lovecraftian investigator Indiana Jones and Ethan Hunt all attempt to maintain a veneer of being characters who live in the real world. Each of them is going to react to falling from a great height in a different way. The investigator's leg is probably broken at least, but Indy grimaces in that way only Harrison Ford does. Struggles painfully to his feet and then gets on with whatever he was doing. Ethan Hunt might give some sign that it hurt, but likely pauses even more briefly than Indiana Jones before getting up and running impossibly fast for an impossibly long distance to defuse a bomb or whatever. Or take the different subgenres of fantasy. Aragorn's going to get all manner of cuts and bruises, but he can fight off literal hordes of orcs or worse, and worse. When we read of Loch Lamora, however, there's a little question that a sword slash or a crossbow bolt or two could bring him down. It is really interesting to see how characters' abilities withstand punishment can vary from genre to genre or subgenre to subgenre. Wounds in Cypher then can easily be modified to reflect this. In a dungeon exploration style fantasy game or a modern action game, characters can get the ability to withstand a few minor or moderate wounds. A superhero can take a few extra major wounds and keep going. But there's more. The amount of time it takes to recover from a wound is affected by this as well. Our pulp action hero might pull themselves out of a cave, take a moment to catch their breath, and be fine, while a sci-fi character who survives a battle with a warbot might have to spend some considerable time in the med bay. Conan might shrug off a blow of some tentacled monster, but a person in modern-day horror story might end up in the hospital or worse after their encounter with the very same creature. It's funny how Lovecraftian monsters are so ubiquitous that they show up in virtually every genre. Rather than making changes to the monster stats or make it appropriate, it makes more sense in Cypher to make changes to the PC. The amount of time it takes to recover from wounds can easily be modified based on genre, as well as how many wounds a character can suffer before facing any effects. Both of these attributes, recovery time and wounds sustained before consequences occur, factor as easy dials to turn and make your game work in the way that feels right. And it's nice that these rules are hacks built right into the game and ones you only need to fiddle with once or at least once per campaign. Because once you use the metric to help define the setting, you don't need to do it again. While we provide genre by genre guidance, for what to do in this case, a GM can modify it in different ways. Want a gritty, deadly superhero game? Simply don't give the characters the ability to take more wounds or recover from them so quickly. Want a non-lethal post-apocalyptic game where characters can just keep going and going? Easily done. The wound system can even provide a surprising tool regarding character abilities because some characters might actually improve, in a sense, when they take wounds. Imagine a raging barbarian style character who actually gets a bonus to attacks after suffering a certain number of wounds because it's enraged them further. Or an action hero whose ability to stand toe to toe with the villain only comes at the end of the fight rather than at the beginning. This is also a great way to portray the little guy who's dangerous when cornered. When dangerous is a cornered idea for some characters. Still, other characters might gain abilities when their allies reach a certain threshold of damage because they are so invested in protecting them from harm. Or some kind of strange wizard or other supernatural character might gain access to the ability they wouldn't have until they are on the ropes, so to speak, like the Human Torch's Nova ability. We can use mechanics to vary genre and in other ways too, but they're not quite so easy as adjusting recovery time or effects from wounds, which is why we've done the work for you. A big way is what we call genre abilities. Your character types gives you a bunch of abilities at character creation and not so much as you advance. Unlike Focus, which just keeps granting you new abilities every time you gain a new tier. Instead, at higher tiers, you can choose new genre abilities appropriate to your character and genre, irrespective of your type. These are things that we deem to fit any character or particular genre. Are you a character in a sci-fi game who wants to be a good pilot, but you don't want to take the starship pilot type? How about a thief in a fantasy setting who wants to know a little magic? Gray Mouse or anyone? These new rules have you covered. Although not a part of the actual character sentence, these ability options almost act like one, making it clear that your setting is very important to your character's essence, much more than ever before. You're not just a swift archer who defends the weak, you're a swift archer who defends the weak in an epic fantasy setting. There are other ways the rules help us define and represent genre as well. Most of them are pretty straightforward, like equipment and skills available. If you're a Cypher fan already, some of them you'll be familiar with, like horror mode for horror games. And of course, we've worked hard to make Cyphers adapt better to different genres. More on that in the future.
All right, before we even get started, I'm just going to freaking say it. There's no doubt in my mind that somebody's watching the streams because the last two streams, all the questions that we've been asking and chat has been asking, the very following week are getting answered. In all the articles, in Monte's articles, and this one is no different. We spent about 30 minutes going, how's the wounds going to work to specific genres? How's it going to scale? And they immediately answer those questions in the very next article. So, yeah, I'm calling it. And thank you for answering our questions because Monte just basically answered all the questions we had in last week's stream, on Thursday's stream.
Yeah, well, I mean, he answered questions and solidified speculations because some of us were saying those exact things that genre specific abilities and so on and so forth. How wounds were going to operate within specific genres, so on and so forth. I mean, like I said, for those of you who've been out here and playing Cypher System, it's just that they're now putting guidance behind the philosophy that's already been there, that was always there. The things that you can always do.
Let's talk about what exactly was said, though. Right. So now we know there's some big differences. Now we know that all your abilities and the way the wound system work is going to be genre specific. And now it makes perfect sense, in my opinion, why they go into two books. Because now you could say, hey, make a fantasy character. We're using the wound system from the fantasy section. So if someone has the player's handbook, they go into the game already understanding how the damage is going to work for that specific genre, which is freaking awesome.
Well, and I'm going to take it a step further, Anthony. I'm not going to say it's just genre, but there are going to be subgenre within, because I'm looking from what Monte is saying. I'm thinking that we might have, swords and sandals, where you can run a Conan style game, a gritty, sword and sorcery style game versus a high fantasy, water deep, I'm looking at, because he even brought it up when he compared the Lovecraftian investigator Indiana Jones and Ethan Hunt.
They also mentioned that they're gonna have abilities genre specific.
Yes.
Right? So I have a question to ask, and Monte, if you're listening, what does that mean for flavors? Like, are flavors gonna be out the window? And is this the replacement for flavors? Like, hey, I'm taking my character types and I'm taking types from the genre specific ability section, or is it in addition to flavor?
Well, I think he already answered that. I mean, just in the title, this is the evolution of flavors. I think because remember he said, even like, say you wanted to be a pilot but you didn't want to take pilot starship, there would be abilities that you can take once you get to specific tiers, genre specific. So I think, the flavors are just evolving into, a more cohesive method, as opposed to, oh, I need to go to the tech flavor, I need to go to the magic flavor. Guess what? I'm in fantasy. And
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, because now these are some like changes that a normal cipher head. I know, Dean, you hate to have these conversations, but these are conversations you gotta have for the non 40-year gaming dudes, right? The original book had flavors and the original book had ability, right? Is that going out the window? I'm asking the question. Is that going out the window? And now, instead of flavors, which genre abilities, in my opinion, are essentially the same thing, they're just in a different part of the book. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking that flavors might be gone, and now it's like what you said. You just go to the genre that you want to, add a little extra oomph to your character to.
Yeah, I mean, I can say that, like I just said in the chat, I think it's just Monty writing the paradigm shifts out for people. I mean, and yes, I will wear my old band badge, get off my lawn, stop rolling my dice, you little curmudgeons, but.
I mean, either way, I could see it being in the GM's, the flavor still being in the GM's book somewhere. But to be honest, you might not need them if they're going this direction. Like,
well, that's kind of what I'm saying. I'm thinking that this is just an evolution of flavors. Flavors, it doesn't even have to be entitled flavors anymore, because we're talking about giving genre-specific abilities. We're talking about giving, and he said there's going to be a list to choose from, and you can only. So I'm seeing that as your flavors that you're talking about, but they're just redefined and they're expanded into an entire way for you to completely customize your character. I mean, come on. We could customize the shit out of a character in the old way, because our brains work that way. But now it's going to be right here in writing for everybody to see the little nuances, the little dial here, the little tweak over there. You can do this, you can do that. But here's the only thing I'm looking at. And this is oh God, Dean's going to say a negative thing. Is this going to cause more choice paralysis?
Possibly. You know what else is gonna, in my opinion, it might cause? It might raise the importance of a session 0, because now you can't just be like, yo, show up to this. I'm running post-apocalyptic, show up to this game. Now you have to be like, I'm running post-apocalyptic, using this subgenre, using these optional rules, right? So it's going to make the session 0 more important. Not that that's a big thing or not, because I think most people have many session 0s anyway. But I do think it's going to slightly make having a session 0, or at least a 15-minute discussion prior to a game, have to happen because you're gonna have to break down. I'm using this. We're using this subgenre. We're using this.
I'm gonna call it now. Monte and group are going to give us a new campaign design sheet and direction for people who are setting up their settings. So the GM will, this is going to be the initial prep for the GM. The GM is going to have an initial prep sheet that he'll put together. Then when you go to your session 0, you can give everybody a copy of the prep sheet, you know, the information that they need, and then they can make any additions or any ideas, throw in what they need from what they're looking at in the player's book. I think that's what we're going to get. Because, I mean, to me, it just makes sense. You know, like you prep on a napkin, you know, I mean, it's no different. Now we're going to just have a whole sheet that we can do it from and just check off some boxes. I think it's going to be freaking phenomenal, personally.
Zil Zala said, will there be a bigger, better tool set for third-party creators?
Absolutely. I mean, don't you see it in front of you?
No, not only that. I mean, I think we could safe to say that I know they're working behind the scenes on doing just that. I don't know how much of it we could actually say, but we were told, you know, in
no uncertain terms.
Yeah, in uncertain terms that they definitely are working on something like that. And I know someone asked early in chat, because chat's moving pretty quickly. Someone asked early in chat about all the optional rules. That's why they're separating the player's guide from the GM's guide, because I'm in the firm cabinet saying this is day one, that I think all the optional rules are going to be in the GM's guide from all the genre books.
Well, here's the thing. You know what? I don't even like to use that word, optional. They're just the rules available to you to build your campaign, to build your game. Because, you know, horror mode isn't an optional rule. Horror mode is horror mode, made for the horror genre. But you could take horror mode and turn it into something else in another genre. You know, just like, you know, they took power shifts. They're power shifts, blood shifts, divine shifts, whatever. You know, they just get reformatted for whatever genre. So it's not. And as Monty told us before, Cypher is a toolkit. So there's no such thing as an optional rule, in my opinion. It's just the rules that are available to you to build what you want.
I'm gonna say this too, and I know this has been mentioned several times in the last videos and in the chats. I'm totally got the bandwagon idea of, and I know chat was think there's not gonna be two ways of doing damage, dude. The wound system is here to stay. The last 2 articles, Monty flat out just said it. This is the route they go, the direction they're going in. And neither one of the articles was there anything saying, hey, you could still use this. So
right.
I expect wounds to be in every genre, just different ways of interpreting the way wounds are going to be dealt and damage is going to be dealt to the characters. But I know last week we tossed around the idea, some of them are not going to use the wound system. Everything's going to use the wound system, in my opinion.
And you know what? I'm not going to say yay or nay one way or the other. I'm just going to say it remains to be seen. Because even if it's not there, that doesn't mean you can't do it. So
yeah, I mean, but you can answer that with every single question we say.
I understand that, and that's what I love about Cypher System. That's exactly that's my whole thrust of the freaking paradigm shift. Everybody's like, well, it doesn't say this, it doesn't say that. What do you say? You know, so that's just me. So
Zana said, wait, they're not moving the hit point to tackle. You can, according to Dean, if you want to move to tackle, you can do it.
You want to move? Hey, you could move to tackle if you want to. It's your game. But you know, I mean, and I love what he said about the subgenres. You know, I think that speaks volumes. Because I mean, that was one of our biggest arguments. You know, well, how do you get a How do you get the nerdy bookworm, for a sci-fi game, and or how do you get this? So I'm thinking that that's going to be really cool when we start looking at the subgenre character approaches.
All right, speaking of subgenres, if you had to give me a ballpark figure, right, Dean, what do you think is going to be the number per per genre? So you think it's going to be like fantasy has 3 subgenres, sci-fi, like is there going to be a set number or is it going to be according to the genre?
Hmm. I'm thinking just for design purposes, because I know, symmetry.
Mm.
Maybe they'll give us 2 or 3 per, and then give guidance for on how to build more. Because I mean,
I mean,
you, you know,
I'll be honest, the white books are there for a reason.
yes,
So I wouldn't be mad if they give you like 2 and then direct you to the white book.
but that's
You
what
know
I'm
what I mean?
saying. That's what I mean. I'm like I said, I'm thinking
Mhm.
that they'll give you like 2 or 3 in order to show you the methodology where you can extrapolate back. You can reverse engineer the ideology of what they did, and then, like you said, there's the white book. Now you have everything else you need for this particular genre. Because I mean, when you think about Stay Alive, I mean, Stay Alive went down. Sean went down the rabbit hole, giving us every possible type of horror you could
I
you
mean,
could.
but you could say the same about the Stars of Fire. It's only magic. They pretty much cover, like every subgenre, whatever category the book was written about. So like, just give me the major ones. Like if you're doing sci-fi, give me hard sci-fi, give me fantasy sci-fi, and then anything else be directed to Stars of Fire. Horror, give me, or fantasy, give me Sword and Sandals, give me, like what you call it,
High
uh, high,
fantasy.
high fantasy to direct me to God Forsaken. Like one, I think is a good business model because it's it's going to push to sell other books, and 2 is because there's some genres have just way more subgenres than other ones. So
Right.
like if we go down the rabbit hole of fantasy subgenres, that section is going to be 80 pages.
Right. Well, like you got to think about it. I mean, fantasy, sci-fi, and supers are ridiculous because they cross over into all each other's subgenres. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. So you're absolutely right. I agree with you. So yeah, 1 or 2, you know, 3 at the most, but definitely, I'm just excited because that. I mean, again, like I said, to me, being able to have some of the work done for us already. Not that I ever complained about the work because I enjoy designing, but just to see, you know, as we like to say, just to see how the masters would do it. Those who understand it, from their minds, I think that's gonna be a great help to us third party creators. Great lessons.
Tristan, well, 3 is the cipher number. I hope for that. Yeah, that's true too. You give me 3 of each, I'm happy. I'm happy with
Yeah,
3 or 2, but 3 is perfect.
yeah. Like I said, I was saying 2 or 3. You said 2, so
Mm.
you know,
All right, so
absolutely.
D, what's your final thoughts on just both of these things before you head off to Gen Con, you lucky bastard?
Oh man, I'm just hoping Monte doesn't drop another design note tomorrow. Because because then well, I planned on trying to stream from Gen Con anyway on Thursday. If we're going to do a stream, I'll set up right there in the hall, and I just had to hit mute, and people could come over and say hi or whatever. But oh man, that would be a hard pill to swallow. So, but overall, what I'm thinking, man, can the Kickstarter start? Can the crowdfunding start like now? That's how I feel about it. I'm ready to jump right in with both feet. I want to see the stretch goals. I want to see this thing unfold, and I can't wait for this to happen. I'm a kid in a candy store.
Yeah, I'm right there along with you. I think every article that comes out, every design diary, every article, every email that Dean is, every email that MCG is sending out to those that elected to be notified of what's going on in the back of kit, which you should be doing. I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna preach that on the mountaintops. I'm getting more and more. I'm starting to see the pictures. The pictures, opening up, is getting clearer and clearer to me. I'm starting to see the vision these guys have. Like we said from day one, if you let Monte and the team cook, you're gonna get a magnificent, delicious, and dungeon meal made from all the wonderful parts and ideas that they're coming up with. So, I'm super excited now. I now I understand the reason for the 2 books. Now I have a better view of how wounds are going to work. And by separating by genre, it just makes perfect sense. So everything they're coming out with is just making more and more sense. And the pictures opening up, clearer and clearer in front of my eyes. And I'm just super excited for you. Like what you said, I can't wait to see what the final product is. And chat, how do your guys feel? Are you guys getting excited as we are? I think I was out of the 2 of us. It's safe to say I was the more skeptical of the 2 of us, and that skepticism is kind of out the window now. You know what I mean? I'm on the bandwagon 100. I mean, I was always a fan, but now I'm fully on the bandwagon.
See, and I think, Anthony, that's just because you call me the old curmudgeon, because I am. I'll take the grog dart, I'll take the badge, but I'm the guy who's, I've drank the Kool-Aid. I drank the Kool-Aid, 5 years ago, and I'm, team MCG, so it's like I see things, and Monty just continues to substantiate and uphold and just make me smile, because it's like I can go, told you so.
So, Chad, I hope you guys are excited as we are. I just can't wait for the next design article to come up. And trust me, I know you guys are listening. So if you're listening, let us know how flavors are gonna, or if flavors are gonna work. D, you have another question you would ask before I go into my spiel? I definitely want to know how flavors are gonna work.
You know what? Just let us know how many subgenres you guys are going to do. Is it going to be 2 or 3? Is it going to be the magic number 3, or are we just getting 2, or are you just going to mess around for here and there? And the only other thing I want to say is, like I said, guys, hopefully I'm gonna definitely do some live streams while I'm there. Just do some lives walking around on our Facebook, and I'll post them up on our Facebook and stuff. But yeah. Let's do your thing, Ant. Go ahead.
I also wouldn't be mad if you gave us the actual genres that you're going to put in the book too. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying. I mean, we already saw that it went up 3 genres from the first Cypher System book to the revise. So are we getting 3 more genres that are in from the revise and the?
I'm calling it now. I'm gonna call it now, Anthony. I'm making a prediction. I said it last time. I say it again, because this is the third. This is every design diary that Monte puts out. He mentions the pulp era. That's my genre. That's my jam. I love pulp. Like, that's only superheroes is the only thing that comes before my pulp love of pulp. And he didn't mention it. He'd been mentioning Indy, Indiana Jones, and all that. We're getting a pulp genre section. I'm telling you that right now. And if I had to think anything else, I'd say we also are going to get a steampunk one. That's just me.
Nice. If you like us and you like what we do, join the Cypher Unlimited Discord server for all things Monte Cook games. We have the largest fan-run Discord server for everything MCG. If Discord's not for you, join our Facebook group. Not as big as our Discord, but still great conversations being had there daily. You can like, share, and subscribe here on Twitch, or go to our YouTube channel and like, share, and subscribe there. I'm sorry. sub here on Twitch, or give us a follow on Twitch, or like, share, and subscribe on YouTube, or go to the Anywhere Door Moonbeam channel and give us a follow there as well. Any help you could give us in all three platforms would be greatly appreciated. We're still trying to grow all three platforms. If you want to support us financially and in any way, you could give us a little donation on Ko-fi, because it helps us out with little things like online conventions. Speaking of online conventions, join Cypher Unlimited so you could actually head to CypherCon. Right, we have plenty of games running. I said it in the beginning of the stream, but come on, come and play with us. You can play with pretty much all the cool people, all the cool kids in the CU community, and a bunch of content creators. And Sean K. Reynolds is going to be running games as well, so you can play with Sean K. Reynolds, a game designer from Monte Games at CypherCon. You could go to our online store and pick up some cool Cypher Unlimited merch, like the shirt Dean got on or the hat I got on. And yes, the new CypherCon merch, t-shirts, hats, mugs are now available for purchase. And if you haven't seen the two designs we have set up by Sin and Ken Hupp, they're freaking phenomenal. Go check them out. They're really, really cool. And last but not least, we love you guys.
Yep.
And I just want to say I'm upset. I'm sorry, guys, that I won't be modeling CypherCon t-shirts at Gen Con because the mail sucks. My shirts will be here Friday. Rick. So I'm sorry. Go ahead now.
No biggie. Definitely it would have been nice if you could have walked around with those designs, because Sin and Ken Hupp knocked them out the park. If you haven't checked them out yet, definitely check out the TeePublic link there. Even if you're not gonna buy it, just go look at it. It's very cool. But yeah, thank you guys so much in the audience for stopping by, joining the speculation train as it continues to roll down the tracks. I know Anthony and Dean love talking about this stuff, and you guys only add to the conversation. So thank you guys so much. And again, thank you, Anthony and Dean, for hosting. But yeah, thank you guys so much. And from us at the CU, we will see you later. Peace.